Okay, so if you're in HR for a business that's growing, you totally know this feeling. The pressure is on, right? You've got to find the right tools to keep up with everything. But what happens when that shiny, perfect tool you picked out turns into this costly, complicated beast? Today, we're going to break down a really common and really expensive trap: choosing the wrong HR software. I mean, does this sound familiar? You finally got the budget approved for a new HR system, you sit down for that big demo, you're full of hope, and then this happens. You're just getting bombarded with all these features for global compliance and AI-powered analytics, when really, all you need to do is make sure people get paid on time. Look, if you've ever felt that wave of being totally overwhelmed by all this, you are so not alone. It is a classic scenario that plays out in small and mid-sized companies all the time. But here's the good news. There is a much, much better way to go about it. So let's actually put a name to this problem. We're talking about the overkill HR system. And it's really based on a pretty simple misunderstanding. A lot of these big-name HR platforms, they're built for massive global corporations, not for a nimble, growing business like yours. So what is HRIS overkill, really? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's when you end up forking over a ton of money for a system that's way too expensive, way too complicated, and honestly just a terrible fit for what your business actually needs day to day. It ends up solving problems you don't even have yet, while maybe not even fixing the ones staring you right in the face. So the big question is, how do you avoid this trap? Well, it really starts with knowing exactly what to look for during those sales demos. So let's walk through some of the biggest red flags that should make you just pause and ask some tougher questions. Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. And what's wild is how obvious these warning signs are once you know what to look for. First off, a feature list that's like 20 pages long, yeah, that's a red flag. Vague, super high implementation fees with no clear return on investment, huge red flag. Oh, and this one's my personal favorite. They make you pay for modules you didn't even ask for. Come on. These are all signs you are looking at a classic overkill system. And seriously, let's just pause on this one for a second. An onboarding timeline of over a year? Think about it. A business like yours can completely transform in 12 months. You need a tool that delivers value now, not a year from now after some crazy long, painful setup process. All right. Enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. And it all starts by shifting your focus away from the vendor's shiny, flashy feature list and back to what's really going on in your company, your actual day-to-day pain points. So let's start with a really basic one. Is your payroll system actually talking to your HR system? Because if you're still manually entering data from one system into another, that is a fundamental problem that the right software should fix for you, like yesterday. And what about onboarding? Think about it. Is it a smooth, slick process, or is it just this chaotic mess of paperwork and back-and-forth emails? A good system makes bringing a new person onto the team just simple. It should be easy. All right, and then there are your employees. Can they actually help themselves? Giving your team the power to just log in, grab their own payslips, request leave, and check their data, it saves everyone so much time and frustration. That right there, that is a massive win for everyone. See, it all just boils down to this. You gotta start with the essentials. Things like employee self-service, some basic workflows, secure document storage, time tracking, and of course, that all-important payroll integration. If you can just nail these basics first, trust me, you'll solve like 80% of your problems right out of the gate. And this brings us to the hero of our story, a smarter, modular approach. Instead of buying this giant one-size-fits-all monster, you build exactly what you need, one piece at a time. And I love this comparison because it just perfectly illustrates the difference in thinking. The overkill approach is like that complicated Swiss Army knife, the one with a dozen tools you're never going to use. But the right-sized, modular approach, that's like building with Lego blocks. You start with a solid foundation, and you only add new pieces when you actually need them. Simple, right? So how's it work? It's super simple. First, you start with those core essentials we just covered. Solve your biggest headaches today. Then, step 2, as your company grows, you add new capabilities. Maybe next quarter you're thinking about performance reviews. Great, add that module in. And finally, you can integrate other cool tools later on, but only when you're ready for them. Okay, so let's pull all of this together into one simple takeaway, something you can use the very next time you're looking at HR tech. How do you make the right choice for your business? Really, it all comes down to these three simple ideas. First, your HR system has got to be smart, meaning it solves the real problems you have right now. Next, it absolutely has to be simple, so simple that your team actually adopts it and uses it without a fuss. And finally, it has to be scalable. It needs to grow with you, not way out ahead of you. So I'll leave you with this one last thought. As you look at the systems you're using today or the ones you're thinking about for tomorrow, just ask yourself this one question. Is this thing a tool or is it a roadblock? Is it actually helping us get work done or is it just getting in the way? Seriously, the answer to that question, it'll tell you everything you need to know.